Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind, where we take the mystery out of mortgages and make dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Natalie Salins, a top 1% mortgage broker with 20 years of experience, based right here in sunny Los Angeles. If you've ever wondered about pre-approvals, appraisals, or what loan product is right for you, don't worry, I've got Mortgage on My Mind, so you don't have to. Each week, I'll bring you expert advice, real-life stories, and insider tips to help you navigate California's competitive real estate market with confidence. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or just curious about how it all works, this podcast is for you. So let's talk mortgages, demystify the process, and make your real estate goals a reality. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind. I'm Natalie Salins, and today we have Jimmy Rios here with us. Jimmy is the CEO of Rios Business Advisors and founder of Rios Business Funding, bringing over 20 years of experience in business financing, debt restructuring, valuations, and exit strategy advising. He created the eye-level to high-level program to help small businesses rapidly stabilize cash flow and reorganize debt, which is what we're going to chat about. And Jimmy is also the author of a business credit guide and has built a 7,000 member online audience focused on practical business growth and funding education. So interesting. I don't think we've really had anybody on the podcast with your expertise. So I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited sharing what I've done and how I can help people.
Yes. Before we get into the eye level to high level program that we were speaking about,
Yes.
how did you get into this? What made you start working? Did you originally do real estate?
Yes. So just to give you some background and some color, I built a financial services ecosystem over 23 years. And when I started, we started with consumer credit and then jumped into property management, real estate, and mortgages. Then we went into insurance, taxes, and by that point, we built all the little planets in around the solar system. And then we built a credit advisory firm that would help people with their credit. So that became like the solar system. And all the planets would revolve around that. And we built these verticals over the years. Wife handles one of the verticals, the credit, and she does the real estate. I do the business and funding or commercial side. And we've managed to build a pretty big team over the years. Now we're nationwide. We actually just opened in Medellin, Colombia, not too long ago. So we have so it's growing. The reality is it crosses all barriers and everybody needs it, especially now, right? With everything that's going on in the world, we've developed some pretty innovative products and services to help people with that question of affordable housing. I can't do it. I'm not making enough at my job. All these questions that come up. And really, when we started looking outside the box, we're like, if the government can't step in and help, then what are we in control of? What could we do to help someone? And that's where we became very astute in coming up with our program that's going on its third year and having extreme success and starting to really take off.
Amazing. So the program being the high level to high level.
To high level, yeah.
So explain in the simplest of terms.
Sure.
What is it and how do you sell it? Like, how do you sell it to clients? What is it exactly?
For all times, there's always existed two sides of a balance sheet, debt and assets, plus and minus. So for a majority of the people, we have a lot of debt, right? And we know that side very well. On the asset side or the income side, it's very limited, right? We're either dependent on what we make on our 8 to 5, hoping to get some gig jobs and make some more. But really, the equation is very difficult because if you don't have methods or vehicles to help you make more money and having a third arm of income to help you elevate your situation, it makes it extremely difficult. And so what we did was we took a page from the book of insurance companies and banks what they've been doing for zillions of years, in the sense that they don't just sit on your money, right? You pay your premiums and they don't just sit there not doing anything. Those premiums are getting put to use. They're going and getting lines of credit and putting that money to work in different investments. And then that money is coming back to them in the form of profits. And then when a calamity or something happens, they're able to go into their reserves and pay out and do those things. Banks borrow money or use people's money, lend it out at a percentage, pay out very little. They make the arbitrage, the difference, and they make a lot of money over time doing the
Right.
same thing. So we said, what if we could do that at an eye level? We know that at a high level, hedge funds and investment firms are making millions of dollars utilizing the concepts of other people's money, right? And leveraging tactics, structurization, all these things that we talk about, tax strategies. But how can the regular Joe who's making $50,000, $100,000 a year, maybe married and they're trying to buy their first house, how can we help them take advantage of something similar in nature? How can we do that? So we had to build it out. We had to literally put together
Yeah.
a plan to be able to take money, and let's say I borrowed $100,000. In a traditional lending sense, you're borrowing the money, you got to pay it back. Well, what if I took a fraction of that money? Let's say 25,000 of the 100. I still got to pay the 100 back, but I put 25,000 to work, and in a span of 6 months to a year, I make 250,000 off that 25,000, right?
How?
The Jews, this is where the rich get richer, because we developed an alternative investment fund utilizing high level tactics and ideas that are already being used by hedge funds, but we brought it to the inner folks. So we used an AI algorithmic platform to be able to invest in contracts and different investment models that give a daily return, not just yearly like we're used to seeing, but it works very similar to compound interest on a daily, so that if I'm trading on 20 days and I made 1% per day, I just made 20% on my money over the course of a month. How much is that over the course of a year? And that's only at 1%, right? What if I made 5% that day, or 3%? Or if I just took a zero for the day and exited the market? So our system does it.
Get it.
It's amazing. But for the regular Joe who is thinking, how does that happen? It's attuned to thinking of like the airplane, right? How does an airplane take you from point A to point B, right? Unless you're an engineer or a physicist and knows things about aeronautical engineering, you're probably not going to know how that works. It works, right? When we talk about the different models that are out there, the platforms that are utilizing these high level skill sets to make a lot of money on a daily, it's
Right.
amazing. And it's not using just the money that somebody puts, it's the margin that we use to be able to make hundreds of contracts or thousands of contracts. And if I made $1 or 50 cents on that contract, multiply that times 100,000, what does that give me back? So it is high level in theory, in
Yeah.
concepts, but we don't put that to you to have to do. We have our team doing all the work on the back end. You're getting a monthly report showing what you're making, and then you're withdrawing, using that money to pay back the debt, and then to start stabilizing yourself, putting money into these buckets like my first house, or paying off my debt on my cars, starting to pay off your insurance for the whole year, right? We work in our advisory firm to help you set yourself up so that if you're making $5,000 a month, you're keeping a big majority of that money, because we're teaching you tactics on how to be able to be better with your money. We're not keeping you in the quadrant of being a wage earner. We might help you set up a little business as a consultant, and now you can get some write-offs, and now you can start thinking like a business owner, but you have an investment that's making money.
And what does that mean, teach you how to do a consulting business? Like, what is,
So there's affiliate marketing, there's all kinds of different businesses that you can get into, that you can make money without really doing much, in the sense of being able to put a code on a website and get paid for advertising, right? And now you're getting paid as a consultant, right, for marketing other people's services. A lot of people don't think that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You could take
Hmm.
something that's already being done. Influencers are doing it all the time. We can do the same in our own home. And even if you didn't, even if you just wanted to just sell Avon or drive an Uber, those are different things you can do. A lot of people, they can't think outside the box, outside of their
Right.
8 to 5, because they don't know any better, right? As
Mhm.
an advisor in business advisory, we're always thinking of how to get through the quadrants, what we call the cash flow quadrants that Robert Kiyosaki taught, right? In thinking differently, right? And if your mindset is stuck in the 8 to 5, that's fine. You're going to be okay in that quadrant. But what if there's a better way that you could do while you're still doing your A job? What if there was a B and a C mode to make money for you? What if we could do those things and think differently? And that's what we teach.
So you teach, do people take classes? Like people take is it an online course or is it just you work with somebody one-on-one
No,
when you say
right
this is what
now,
we teach?
yeah, and that's because we do a lot of one-on-one. When people come to me, they don't all come to me because they need to go buy a house. Somebody comes to me
Right.
and their credit is damaged, or they need to sell their business, or there's a lot of reasons why they come to me. So what I
Sure.
do is I build a blueprint for them so that I can show them where they're weak, where they're strong, where they could be better. And I start and my book is called Decoding the Mysteries of Business Credit. It's on Amazon, and it's meant to be a very easy step-by-step guide to help them learn how to read their credit, how to build on their credit,
Sure.
how to start a business, all the little tools, right? But many people don't go to a book and they don't open it, they don't read it. They might buy it, but they don't go into it and put it into action. So that's where
Totally.
I come in, and our team works with the individuals one on one, setting up their blueprints for success, because everybody's going to be different. Just
Wow.
because I can teach you how to start a business doesn't mean you're ready for a business today. If you can't,
But so you teach actually the business structure and how to start it. Will you,
100%,
so if somebody
100%.
has an 8 to 5 and they're not making enough and they need to supplement, which is
Yes.
what we're talking about, do you give them just off your own creative idea, like you are a blank, so that means you should probably pick up a second job doing this? Is that
So
how it works? Or
part of it can be that with the different tests that we can give them, but really, I
what are
don't
they going to
care.
be successful in? Like,
This is the thing. If you just put people in boxes on account of these tests, sometimes what if your passion is drawing, but you haven't drawn anything in 20 years, and you want to get into some type of design or some type of artwork or something, but you're scared or you don't know how to go about doing that. And but this could be something that could really change your life, but you don't know that, right? And so we
yeah,
we start exploring because there's nothing worse than doing something that you don't want to do. Many people are doing their jobs because they have to, not because they want to, right? They haven't found their passion project yet, right? What if we could find something that falls inside of what they do well, but they just don't know how to go about doing it? Because it's not easy to start a business. You might be very good technically at doing
no,
something, but that doesn't translate automatically into having a successful business. And then learning how to bridge yourself from being a W-2 earner with those benefits to then having to jump into entrepreneurship and doing it on your own. Not a lot of people
right.
can do that. I made a lot of mistakes over 20 years trying to bridge over, and many times I had to go back to corporate and work in corporate while I kept building and learning, and it took me 23 years, right? So I said there's got to be another way to curtail that or shorten that distance so that people can still get started, not be so scared, because fear is what holds a lot of people back. Fear of
Sure.
loss, fear of starting, the what ifs. But what if we just kept your life going how it is, and we started implementing some changes? It doesn't have to be drastic changes, but we started helping you look at these things so you can start opening up the realms of possibilities. Now you
Mhm.
have something. And that's how
Yeah,
we do it. We really start mapping it out and not just putting you in a box.
yeah. Amazing. It's what a great business. What a great opportunity for people who really are feeling that they don't know where to go and what to do to expand.
I come across a lot of people that they've been doing what they've been doing for a long time. And it's not that they don't like their job, it's just that they've hit like that wall and they don't feel like there's any growth. They're done. They're like, what do I do now? And then they get
Yeah,
laid off. And then they're
right.
like, right now there's a lot of fear because of AI and what's going to happen to my job. And it's the reality of the changing times, right? So how do people start thinking a little differently in how they can be more valuable to the marketplace, right? And so we have to start thinking differently and bring more value to what you can do. And many people get static, they stagnate inside of what they're doing. And so we help them put that fire to help them start seeing things a little differently and help them get better, elevate and escalate. And that's why my credit company is called Next Level Credit, because we're always thinking about going to the next level in what you do and high level, always going to
Yeah,
another level.
exactly. That's great. That's great. And
Definitely.
then as far as mindset, do you teach things like that because that's a
Yeah.
huge part of it. Like you said, you can buy a book, but it doesn't mean you read it. People
Oh,
can
definitely. Yeah.
want to move forward and start a new job, which isn't a simple thing to do, of
No,
course.
no.
It takes a full shift of mind to prepare
I
yourself for this type of thing.
Well,
Do you,
and
yeah.
what I did was I have my own podcast as well, the High Level to High Level podcast on YouTube under Rios Business Funding, and I started really interviewing and talking to individuals and businesses about those challenges and how we can overcome those things, right? So the mindset is a very important part of everything that we talk about because no matter how skilled you are, it takes what 10,000 hours to become a master at something. What if you become a master at something, but you're still deficient over here on really getting it out? And how do you sell that concept or that product? And how do you get more people to buy or whatever it is? There's a lot of mechanics that go into building something that really sells. And a lot of people don't know that. They might be really good at playing the guitar or singing or drawing or whatever, building things or but they're different. They lack in a lot of areas. And we need to be able to teach people that it's okay to fail, right? But failing forward. How do we fail forward? It's okay to give something a try and say, at least I tried it. But if you don't do anything, you're never going to have the opportunity to know if that's something that you're going to stick with. What if you started something and then you find out 2, 3 months later that you really don't like that? You envisioned all these things that were great, but this is not really what you want to do. But in doing
Right.
so, you found something else that you want to do. But that's all kind of locked in until you can get rid of that fear. So I do talk a ton in my podcast and everything that if you Google Jimmy Rios or I level to high level, you're gonna see me in a lot of different podcasts talking about the same thing because I think it transcends just a transactional product or service when we start talking about relations, when we start talking about
Sure.
helping others, being empathetic to their needs, we start really building out ways to help them bridge themselves over to different ideas. And that's where the wins come, right? Because if they
Yeah.
take anything, in fact, today on my podcast, it just came out. I had two 17-year-old boys that came and started a car. They clean your car, but
Okay.
they do like clear code and they know how to do all this
Okay.
high level like cleaning. And you would think that these guys were like seasoned pros, but they learned
Yeah.
everything off YouTube and they can tell you what's in the ingredients and why, how to take this off and how to do that. And it was just mind blowing. Like how at 17, these guys became experts in a field that's really ran by veterans, people that are much older, and these guys are doing it and they're doing it very well. I see them everywhere in my neighborhood with their sign, they got their QR codes, they're on TikTok,
Shoot. Yeah.
and they're doing it and they're 17 years old. So you're never too young or too old to, and when I asked them on my podcast what it was that got them doing that, they said in Maricopa, where we live, there's just not a lot of jobs for 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. So we just decided start cleaning cars and seeing where it would take us. And they started
Sure.
studying all the different ways to make more money. And here they are.
Yeah,
Beautiful
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and telling us a little bit about your very cool, innovative business. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you
it.
for
I've
having
thought of that. It's great. In my head, I'm like going to send you clients that aren't quite qualifying for what I
me.
need them to qualify for.
What's beautiful is we team up with a lot of brokers, a lot of
I bet.
realtor mortgage companies because they don't know about these things. Like when all these different programs come out, you're very apt to want to figure it out, see how
Mhm.
you can put that to work in your business plan. And that's how we work with them as a consultant and helping them with their clients because not everybody can qualify today, but in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, now you got a good organic base of clients that you helped because you thought outside the box.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. Thank you so much. If
Definitely.
I super appreciate your time,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Please go on Amazon. Don't just buy it, but read
Yes,
Decoding the Mystery of Business Credit
definitely.
by Jimmy Rios. And all of his information, of course, is in the below. And thank you so much again for joining us, Jimmy. And
Thank you. Thank
I'll
you for
talk to
having me.
everybody soon.
All
My
right.
pleasure. Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye now.
You too. Bye. Thanks for listening to Mortgage on My Mind. If you're ready to start your mortgage journey or have any questions, I'd love to help. With 20 years of experience, I make the process as simple and stress-free as possible. Check the show notes for my contact info and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. Until next time, I'm Natalie Salins, here to help make your real estate dreams a reality.